This is CJ with my buddy Soledad O'Brien at her 2017 Twin Cities PowHERful Summit for Young Women. Soledad's foundation, with the support of others, including Minnesota's ECMC group, invites young women to these events to learn how to navigate the financial and other aspects of pursuing college.
What's going on, Ladybug?
After Soledad quieted the room for me,
Sorry, ladies. Do you guys mind if we record just for a couple minutes? Is that okay?
we talked about current events and her passion for these gatherings.
First of all, I appreciate that I bumped into you at a number of these conferences because you're very committed to helping us, which I appreciate tremendously. You know, it's really fun to be with young women who have so much potential, who are really on the cusp of great things, and to see them in all their confusion and all their anxiety and all their stress, really trying to figure it out. And I love being able to gather a bunch of women, mostly, and sometimes guys, to come and help them navigate the road ahead, because there's so much opportunity. I want them to know they don't have to reinvent the wheel, but there's a lot of people around them who've made dumb mistakes, who've made big mistakes, and who can help them avoid some of those mistakes and help them get on the path to what they really want to do.
Do any of these girls ever track you down for recommendations after?
Absolutely. In fact, you know, we encourage that. The bigger heartbreak for me is that a young woman wouldn't put this on her resume. This is something that they have done and committed to. This belongs on a resume. This is something to talk about as you are thinking about applying to college. Right. These are things that show your character. If you're volunteering to come to a conference at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to learn about how to be successful, how to underwrite your education, how to navigate spaces where you don't feel like you might belong, and how to really stick it out even when quitting might be a more reasonable option.
Are we ever going to see Brad at one of these events? I know he's the money. He's some of the money behind it.
Listen, more than the money, he's the sanity behind it. Like, the money's good, but the sanity of having someone say, you know what, this is important, do it. He's really good at that. The challenge for us is we have 4 kids. So Brad's day-to-day is 8 o'clock lacrosse practice for our twin boys, which he has to sit through. Then at 10 o'clock, he has to grab them, take them across town to a clinic that they're doing. After the clinic that they're doing, then he's going to bring them back so that they can finish up some of their schoolwork. And, you know, he's going to juggle the day. And then our daughters, who are also in school, he's going to go and watch a diving competition that Cecilia has, a squash competition that Sophia has. Brad is doing yeoman's work on the personal stuff. But what I do appreciate is that he understands how valuable PowHERful is to me personally, but also as a whole to our nonprofit that we run. It's a really, really important element. And so he does what he can to support it. Today, that means literally from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. He'll be, you know, parenting 101.
And now some uncomfortable current events about which Soledad is comfortable speaking, including the president.
I think he's got a lot of support for a narrative that normalizes white supremacy. I think clearly he has recognized that messaging around an anti-immigrant platform, and that dog whistles that aren't even dog whistles anymore, they're out and out shouts about race, mobilize and inflame a certain part of the population, a part of the population that's always been here. You know, so I think he's just decided that that's something that he's willing to embrace, and with it, a lot of the GOP, frankly, because
Moving on to a new subject that will sound like the previous, here are her thoughts on Roy Moore.
This is a guy who also believes that Muslims should not hold elected office, and it's so disgusting on so many levels that no one steps up to say these are not the values of the American people. We do not hate people because of their religion. We do not dismiss people and denigrate them because they're women. We do not say that the better times for America was when black people were enslaved. Like, who the hell says that? That's bizarre. So as much as I think Roy Moore is completely unqualified to be a senator in the United States, what breaks my heart is all the people around him who could be standing up saying, like, people, this is effed up and this should not happen, and they just don't do it.
Would you have resigned if you were Senator Franklin?
That's a very hypothetical question. I thought if your question is, do I think he should have resigned? The answer
I thought you wouldn't answer that question, so that's why I'm this way.
No, I'm not going to answer the question. Okay. Listen, you know, I think it's good that he resigned. I thought he had to resign. people who are in political office and people like me and other people who take photos all the time with people, right? I take photos this event, I will take 175 photos with people. In all the years that I've taken photos with people, which is now probably under 1 million photos, right? There's not a soul who will say, Soledad grabbed my butt, Soledad grabbed my breast, Soledad, if I have accidentally brushed up against somebody, I have stopped to apologize, oh my goodness, it's not normal. It's not normal. There's no list of people who would say, she pinched me on the ass, ever. I do think we need to have conversations where we have to make sure people understand that treating somebody else's body as if you have access to it is not normal. Regardless of whether you're a Democratic senator, a Republican senator, not a senator at all, whoever, it's just not normal.